Okay, so Mandy,
Hey,
how are you doing?
I'm all right. This is all something different on a Monday night, isn't it?
I know. I mean, this is the new out out in.
Out, out.
So can you introduce yourself then, Mandy, and just explain what you do?
Yep, Amanda Humphrey. I am the owner of Amanda One, Amanda One is a salon in Great Denham, just outside Bedford town, and I set that up 4 years ago.
Wow, bet that's flown by, hasn't
Sometimes it feels like yesterday that I set it up, and other times it feels like I've had it all my life.
it? Really?
Yeah.
uh, so obviously, like everyone has a story, and I love a good story. So, what is kind of your background? What's your story into the salon, and why did you even decide to open a salon?
So my background is nothing to do with the hair and beauty industry. I was 15 years working for the police, beginning as a civilian, and then I went into London and qualified as a detective after a couple of years in uniform. So I spent just over 10 years in London, and decided I needed a change, and that was all spurred on. I've got a now 12-year-old who I was fed up of missing. I missed out on so much of him. First words, first steps, first day at school, and I just needed a change. So after missing one too many sports days, I lived in Great Denham. Great Denham, for those that don't know, it is a new build estate, and they were building shops. So I rang my daddy and said, right, well, this is what I'm going to do. So my dad's history is in banking. So I said, help me do a business plan. So we got that together. And I went into it, if I'm honest, with gut feeling and a lot of luck.
Wow.
So yeah, 4 years ago, last month, we opened the doors, and I'm still here, although my doors are shut at the moment.
I know. Soon we will be open again.
Fingers
Oh,
crossed.
from the salon from being a detective is like such a crazy difference. Like, do you know what? Being a copper or a detective is like my dream job.
Is it?
Yeah.
Do it.
Just the idea of it though. I don't know if I actually like the paperwork.
It's a
Yeah.
fabulous job. I had 10, 15 years within the policing, but it was amazing. I learned so much. I met my husband. Um, so it was amazing, but enough was enough. I think it for all the emergency services out there, you dedicate your life to that job, and sometimes you gotta let go. So when I opened the salon, I carried on policing. So I did 2 years doing both, because obviously when you open a new business, not only did I have the bills with the business, but I also had my own bills as well, my mortgage. So I carried on policing, did both. It really didn't work. And looking back now, I think business is a lot about hindsight, isn't it? In hindsight, that didn't work.
Yeah.
It wasn't the best for my business. It wasn't the best for me. And circumstances changed, and I thought, right, I'll give it a go. I'll take a year out from the police. We're lucky enough that we can take a career break. So I put in for my career break, and all was going smoothly until a week before I left policing. I got diagnosed with cervical cancer.
Oh God. Like that must have been like the most devastating and heartbreaking news I've ever received.
Absolutely. So it was scary on two fronts. On the first, that I'd taken the biggest risk of my life anyway by leaving my lovely secure job, that paid my bills, to go into the salon, which I knew was a risk. But then it was the doctors giving me treatment plans, and all of it involved me not being able to work in the salon. So it was scary, massively scary.
Wow.
So yeah.
Wow. So like, was you regular with like your smear test? Did you miss a smear test? Like, how did that all happen?
So I am that person that will honestly say it was never going to happen to me. So I went 7 years without a smear test and got all the letters. And every time I went to the doctors for something else, they said, you need to book it. I'll book it. And I did book the appointment, but life is so busy for all of us. But running a business and working a full-time job and being a mum and being a wife, every time something else came up, I knew the smear test I could just cancel and that would be fine, or so I thought. And it wasn't. So I don't know. It was the GP at the time. I went for something, I can't even remember what I went for, and he said, you need to book your smear. And I said, yeah, I'll do it on the way out. He said no, and he actually sat in his room, and he said, I'll book it now for you. So I thought, oh, okay. And I did turn up and I did go, and that was a Thursday, late Wednesday afternoon, and by the Friday morning I'd had a call from Bedford Hospital to say you need to come in.
Wow.
And I was in on the Monday.
Wow,
So,
that's crazy. Then I guess like a lot of people think, oh, I'm okay, I don't feel any different, like that type of thing. Like, did you have any type of symptoms, or you just had no idea?
none at all. So the symptoms for the common symptoms for cervical cancer are irregular bleeding, pain, back pain, abdominal pain. I had none at all. I had very regular periods for always. There was nothing different that changed. Again, in hindsight, I look back and go, wow, I had amazing symptoms. Do you know what I mean? I was exhausted beyond exhaustion, but it kind of I got used to being that tired. And it wasn't until afterwards and after the surgery and after I knew the cancer had gone that I thought, wow, this is how you're meant to feel. But I was exhausted. My hair was appalling. It was so thin. But at the time, I was thinking, well, one day I want to be brunette, then I want to be blonde. Do you know what I mean? I hammer my hair. I own hairdressers. Of course I do. Let's try this. Let's do this colour. So I wasn't looking after my hair, so I could put that down to me abusing my hair. My nails were the same. My nails were so poor. But again, you can always justify something, and it wasn't until afterwards that when my hair started, like for a long time, I don't think you can see it today, but for a long time you could see my new hair, my non-cancer hair versus my cancer hair as it was growing out. Wow. And it wasn't because I'd had chemo, because I was really lucky I didn't have to have chemo. It was just that my body was eating any goodness that I had. So it was afterwards that I could say, yeah, I had this and this symptom, but at the time I had none.
Wow. So where are you at in the journey of it all now?
So I am in remission. Yay.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. So I was really lucky. I had surgery. I had major surgery. I had a radical hysterectomy, and I had a bit of spread as well, and they removed all that with some lymph nodes. So that happened really quickly. And I was cancer free within 6 weeks. I found out just before Christmas that year. And I remember being in the salon, bawling my eyes out in front of a client, going, I've not got cancer anymore. So they tested everything, and I was cancer free. Lovely. And I've stayed there, touch wood, ever since. I've had rocky road leading up, coming through it, and I've had major side effects from the surgery. I've got a lot of scar tissue, and that causes massive problems. It causes a massive problem tail end of last year. But touch wood, I've had some hormone treatment, and I am on the road to recovery. And I've just been given, just before we all got locked down, it was the first time the oncologist said to me, you don't have to come back for 6 months.
Wow.
And in just it was about 2.5 years. I have been in Bedford Hospital more times than I care to remember, just constantly going, this problem, this, try this, try this. So yeah, and
Wow.
obviously every pain you get, there's, you think, oh, is it back?
Yeah, I bet you would. I would be all for that. I mean, I'm the worst person for that type of thing anyway now. If I had like the slightest pain or bump or anything after that, I'd be freaking out.
Yeah, and and you have to weigh up. I think I would say having cancer is the easy part of it, because you're on a roller coaster really, but you get told at every point what you're going to do and what's going to happen, and you're closely guarded by your team. And my team are amazing. I have to mention my lovely nurse Gail. I can email that lady at any time and she will always get back to me, and nothing is too small. So if I have a worry or something, she straight away she's there, and if I need to come in, she'll get me in. But it's the afterwards when you think, right, I'm okay, but then, like, I had a massive internal bleed last October, which had formed a mass. Now straight away the entire medical team are telling me that the cancer's back, and that's what the mass is. It wasn't. It really wasn't. It was just a mass of dead blood. But it's scary. It's a scary road.
Yeah, I mean, being a mum as well, like, did you have this fear that, am I even going to make it through this? Like, am I going to die?
Yeah, absolutely. So the first week, I remember looking in James's eyes and thinking, wow, like, I couldn't look at him, because obviously our job is to protect our children, isn't it? That's what we do as parents. And I'm looking at him thinking, am I going to see you grow up? And in my head, I'm thinking, the statistics are on my side, I'm healthy, they can fix it, but it doesn't stop the thoughts. And I remember some very, very dark days in the early sort of few weeks in between. Yes, you've got cancer, but we don't know how bad it is. So, and there's biopsies and there's all sorts of tests and scans and PET scans, MRI scans, you name it. But you don't get the results until they've got everything. And then they discuss it at a big meeting. So it's the waiting for scans and results. And the thoughts that crossed my mind during that time, it was the worst time of my life. And I'm just so grateful for where I'm at. And I've lived to tell the tale, and I do tell the tale. And because I always say, don't be me, because I was the one. The whole cancer, I can honestly sit here and say it's my fault, because if I'd have gone earlier, they could have fixed it with the least amount of invasive treatment. So yeah, that's what smear tests are there for. That's what we should all do.
Definitely. And obviously you're a massive advocate for that now, aren't you?
Massive. And I've had so much feedback. So I went public with the cancer just after I'd had my surgery. And we've run many campaigns with Joe's Cervical Cancer Trust. We're one of their supporting salons, because it's a subject that people don't like to talk about. And we all have to go for the smear tests, and it is scary, and it's embarrassing, isn't it? But so I've been very open about it all over my social media platforms, and I've had so many lovely people commenting saying, I went and I've got these cells and they wouldn't have found it. Or I had another lady saying the doctor said I was 6 months away from it being cancer, because obviously cervical cancer starts as irregular cells, and then over time it turns into cancer. And that's what the smear tests are there to prevent that.
Yeah, definitely. So everyone, go for your smear tests. Do not miss
Absolutely.
out. So obviously while you was going through that, you just literally set up the salon, right?
Yeah, I was about 2 years into the salon, so it's still a new business.
So still a new baby in the salon, obviously you're going through that stress, you're not able to be in the salon. It could have really went either one or two ways, I guess, when it comes to business, because we have to nurture our businesses so much in the beginning. Like, how did you find business was in this time?
I think I was really lucky. We have got a lovely client base that were hugely loyal to me during that time. So whilst, and I know you're the same, Katie, we like to present ourselves in a nice way so we look wonderful when we go into the salon. I really wasn't. And I look back at some of the photos during those times and think, wow, I looked awful. But I was still going in because that was my happy place. And I knew that if I stopped doing that, then that was me giving up. So actually, after every surgery, within 48 hours, I was back in that salon, not necessarily doing clients and not necessarily there all day, but the fact that I had something to get up, get dressed, and get to was really important. That in my mental, for my mental health, that I kept going. So it really saved me the business, because I then started being in the business completely. I wasn't policing. The business has grown with that, and I'm really proud of where we've got to.
Yeah, because I guess like it does have an effect on a brand new business anyway, if you're not there all the time to start with.
Yes, absolutely. And I wasn't, and it wasn't. We had, when we first opened, we had a good reputation, but it wasn't as good as it could be, and it certainly wasn't as good as it is now. And that has come from hard work, getting the right team in there. My team are amazing. I'm really grateful for them, and I'm glad that I've had that time to spend in the business, and it's really helped it.
Yeah, definitely. So how, obviously you have a fantastic team, like how have you found running teams and finding the right staff and that type of thing?
I think any business in any industry, I think staff is always the hardest point. I'm not sure if you agree.
Yeah, definitely.
And
I'm very lucky if anyone was watching this. Like, I do have the best team, but it's definitely been the most challenging part of business, and I think every business owner says that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know we met because you are my mentor, and I know a lot of, if I look back, you've been mentoring me, what, six months now?
6 months,
and
yeah.
and I think the biggest thing when I came to you was staff, and how everything, it made me sad when it wasn't working. And I think that is the biggest thing that I've learned, is you give your all to your team, but if it doesn't work, that's okay.
Yeah.
And I think that's the biggest lesson that you've taught me, that is okay. That's life. People move on, and not to dwell on that. Just, I think we evaluate a lot between us and as business owners. And I think there's always places where we can improve as a boss. But I think we've learned to turn that round for future staff.
Yeah.
And accept that it's okay. It's okay for people not to be happy, and they do move on.
Yeah,
and that's fine.
not to take it personally, really, like, because like I said, yeah, you think everyone's going to stay with you forever and they don't, and we can't expect them to stay with us forever either, even though that would be absolutely perfect, especially when you have the most amazing team and then one leaves and you're like, no, don't leave, like everything else is going to fall apart. But it is life, and we train our staff to be the best possible therapists or hairdressers they can possibly be, and then they might go on and do other things, or they might start their own business, or they might join another salon, or whatever it is they want to do. And it just comes with part of the parcel with having any teams, no matter what industry that you're in.
Absolutely.
And I do, when you are in a small team, it's so hard not to get so close, that when someone leaves, you take it so personally, and sometimes like on the floor with it. I've been devastated when people leave, but at the same time, you've got to let them spread their wings and do their thing.
Yeah, and I'd like to think in years to come, I'd like to think when we retire, I'd like to think some of our staff look back and think they really helped. And I think if your ex-staff can say that in years to come, I think then we've done our job.
Yeah.
How we should have done it.
I think so, especially when it comes to obviously staff that have gone and left, and maybe it hasn't gone on such good terms. Like, there's been plenty of that in my career, but I do always think one day they will look back and be like, okay, I learned this from being in the salon, or actually, not blow my own trumpet, but I'm as good as what I am because I was taught all the time by Kate. Like, it's just about building people up, isn't it? And people will see that.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So in business, what has been your proudest point so far?
Do you know what? I was thinking about this. I think I'm proud that I'm still here. I think I'm proud that the salon, so I didn't have any experience, and a lot of people said that when I was mad, going into an industry that I didn't know, and a lot of people said it would fail, and I think I'm proud that I haven't, and I will never have the biggest salon, but I have a happy salon, and I'm really proud of that. Every day I'm proud of that. I'm proud that of my girls and how they come on. And I think when you get a member of staff that it maybe isn't as confident, but you see that confidence come and you see their work so amazing, and I think that's what makes me proudest. I think you can win awards, can't you? And you can you can own, I don't know, 100 salons, but I think if you can not prove people wrong, but I feel that I maybe have proved people wrong, that the salon is still there, and touch wood, will survive through the current climate.
I know. I think it's a big one at the moment, isn't it? I mean, if we all open back up, then fab, some people aren't even gonna even have the opportunity, sadly, to even open back up their doors because they haven't made it through this point. It's really sad and scary. What's kind of your views on, obviously we're on lockdown at the moment, well, hopefully we're all praying we're going to be open over the next couple of weeks. Whether or not that's going to happen or not, I don't know. But do you think it's going to affect business? Do you think it's going to affect other businesses? What's kind of your view when it comes to this?
I think the lockdown itself, we between us had many conversations, didn't we?
Yeah.
Even before that, we actually probably believed in ourselves in our own mind that there was a possibility of us being locked down. I remember having a long conversation with you about sanitizing, and it kind of felt in that run up, those few weeks, it was so busy, wasn't it? In everything, it went mad in the salon, and we're watching all this stuff on the news and thinking, no, it's not going to happen, and oh my goodness, it did happen, didn't it?
Yeah.
And I think the first week, and I remember the week leading up to it, the amount of tears and the lack of sleep in that week before we knew none of the help was announced, and I was thinking, wow, how am I going to get through this? Like, how much of my personal savings am I going to have to throw into the business just to get us through, to be able to keep my staff? And I remember having some really tearful conversations with my team, and it was the first time I've ever had to stand there and say, I don't know the answer. I don't know if we can do this. And then that first week, obviously the grants got announced and the furloughing got announced, so the pressure lifted a little bit, didn't it? But I think I've spent the first week in total shock, complete and utter shock. I'd closed the business to my baby, and I didn't know, I couldn't get my head round how we could get through this. And I remember you texting me and saying, how you doing? And I said, I've done nothing. Like, I'm watching everyone on social media and they're doing loads of stuff, and I did nothing. I put nothing on my social media, and I just chilled out and spent some time with my son, spent some time with my husband, and just kind of adjusted to where we were. Because I haven't. I've had a week off a year since I've had the salon, where we've gone abroad and we've had a week off. And I think last year I didn't go away because I wasn't well enough to go away. But my lovely manager in the salon, she kind of banned me. She locked me out of the salon and said, you need a week at home. So I had a week at home. But all of a sudden we've got all this time on our hands. I've never had, I think since I was on maternity leave was the last time I had 6 weeks off in a row.
I know. I didn't even have that.
I bet you didn't. I fortunately did. I had lovely 9 months off. It was amazing. But I had a new baby to deal with. So that was slightly different. So we have adjusted in this house, and my son's doing his homeschooling and I'm keeping busy, and I thought I'd do a bit of studying. Obviously, through my social media, I've been showing that I've been practicing, learning new skills. So I've actually really embraced it, and just slowing down, I think I realised how tired I was.
Yeah.
Because as I said earlier, I'd put all this pressure on myself. I had to go back into the salon. I had to keep working to keep my business going through being ill. Madness, utter madness, because my team are good and my salon would have carried on whether I was there or not. And to be fair, I look back now and I think I was probably a hindrance on them because I was there and I wasn't 100%. But I think this time has given me the time to refocus and just relax. And I have to say I've really enjoyed it. Really enjoyed it. Going back, I think this is the easy bit for the business. Personally, I think this at the moment we are getting financial support, aren't we? And whilst I'm not saying we've got loads of money, but our bills are getting paid. I think when we go back, I think it's going to be the toughest fight for all us business owners.
Yeah.
I think we'll be busy. I do, but with postponing bills, VAT, we've got bigger bills to pay when we go back.
Exactly.
And I do think we've got a fight on our hands. I really do. And does it scare me? Yes, it does scare me. Will we get to it? Yeah, we will, because we're pretty determined.
Yeah.
I do think I think in any business, I think it unless you're selling face masks, I think or sanitizers. I think it is taken a massive knock, and where we the business was 6 months ago is certainly not going to be in that position now. And I said to one of my girls today, I said it's going to be like starting again.
Yeah.
In a way, except we've got amazingly loyal client base. It is certainly taken us back, and I think only time will tell as to how far back we've gone.
Yeah, I feel like it's going to be like starting again as well. The only thing, like you said, we're very lucky to already have client bases. We've already got that client base to be able to contact straight away and get hold of and pick up the phone to. And I think people are really loyal, especially in this time. People have been so loyal that they will come back even just to support us.
Absolutely.
Salons. And but it will be like starting again. And like you said, the financial help that we've had is amazing. It was so bloody hard to the run up to it though, before the financial backing come in. I was like pulling my hair out. But like I said, all of our bills are going to be a lot higher when we go back because there's been stops on everything. And I think that's what a lot of people don't understand.
I think it's massive. I think I have been brought to tears by some of the most sweetest, kindest messages from some of our clients, and it kind of brings back why we do this.
Yeah.
And I feel so proud that my little salon is part of our clients' lives as well, and I would never have dreamt that. From the industry that I came from, I would never have dreamt that was even possible. I think it is so kind, and I think the loyalty is there, and I'm so grateful for that. But the bills are going to be bigger when we go back. So it is scary.
And I think also, like, there's the unknown of it all, isn't there? Like, obviously I think that we are going to be busy without a doubt, but then I think there are still going to be clients that are going to be very wary about coming into salon, because obviously they're going to be scared, they're going to be worried to go anywhere, let alone a salon with lots of clients and stuff in. So it's just the unknown. Is it going to be as busy as we think? Is it not? Like,
and I think it as well, I think it's opened our eyes, because really, who would have thought this was even possible? Like, I would never, ever have imagined that the government would say, you have to shut your doors now because of a virus. Like, I couldn't have dreamt it. And we said that so many times, didn't we? That it was surreal, and it felt like we were living in a film.
yeah.
But now we know, are they going to do it again? I mean, is this going to become the new normal? And that's scary as well, is how do you plan for just in case, or do we have to plan for just in case this happens again?
Well, yeah, I mean, I think it's really important that now it kind of sets some businesses apart from other businesses regards to when it comes to how strong we are, what our backing is, what our cash flow is, and things like that. And I just think now, hopefully, businesses will be more strict when it comes to putting aside savings as well as their tax and VAT, and making sure that we've always got a cushion just in case this did happen again. And if it doesn't, lucky days, you've got a nice little cushion there in the bank. But if it does, then you know you're okay. I just think it's trying to make business slightly a bit stronger in case it does happen again.
Yeah, and I think I will definitely have to have that cushion, and I think it's taught us those lessons, that we need that, and we need because if I'd have said to you last year, right, you're going to have 3 months, you're not going to earn any money in your business, you would have laughed at me, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
And said, no, like, there's no way that will happen, but it did, and it has, and here we are. What are we, week 7, week 8?
So yeah, week 7. I
week
literally
7.
just can't get over the week running up to it. Like you said, it was just so emotional and just weird, and that the stress and emotional stress that was on us about, do we close, do we not close? Like, I'll never forget that. Like, that was horrible. And obviously you made the decision to close first. Then I was like, oh God. And then I remember being on the phone to the girls, I was crying to the team. I was like, what are we going to do? And then decided to close. And then next day the government forced it anyway. So I was like...
Absolutely. And it was so hard, because we didn't know what to do. And we had many conversations, didn't we? And both of us went into it going, we will carry on until we are told to close. Don't worry, we're carrying on. But it just got too hard. That Saturday, I made the decision I kind of made the decisions. I left the salon on the Saturday night, but it was the most horrible day in the salon. My girls and me, we were exhausted. We were tired from every person was talking about it. It was scary. And I was thinking, am I putting my team at risk for the sake of a couple more days? And I had a long conversation with my dad on the Saturday night, and I said, I'm going to sleep on it. And I woke up Sunday morning. I had a conference call with all the team, and I said, we're done. Like, we can't do this. We'll close tomorrow, and we open on a Monday, where I know a lot of salons don't. So me and all of them, to be fair, came in to tidy up and to get things in place, which was lovely, and that was when we locked the doors.
Yeah, so much.
So emotional.
But it's going to be like the happiest day ever when we all open our doors. Like, I literally can't wait. Like,
I've ordered cakes.
Yeah, so we.
I've ordered cakes, I've ordered balloons. I can't wait. I'm well excited. We're all going to be standing there in our PPE, looking nothing like we do, but we'll have cakes.
I don't know how we're going to eat them under the visors.
I ordered cakes quite early on, actually, because we have to celebrate it. We have to celebrate that we're back. And I think it's a big achievement to those of us that do manage to open our doors again, that's a real big achievement. I think we're really lucky people.
Yeah, definitely. So who would you say is like your top 3 people that have inspire you when you're having down days, etc., and just your kind of go-to 3 people, and why?
Number 1 on my list has to be my daddy, who is my business partner. He's a silent partner, but he is my he's always my go-to, completely and utterly. I don't do anything in life, even I'm 40 this year, but even decisions that I should be able to make myself, like shall I buy this house, I have to run it through my dad, and who knows why. But business wise, he gives me a lot. He gives me a free range, and then he guides. So yeah. 3. Inspiring, cancer wise, I follow a lovely lady who is on Instagram called Bow Babe, and a podcast, You, Me and the Big C, and that has got me through some real dark days as well. So cancer wise, I have to always be in the right frame of mind to listen, because some of the conversations are really tough. That they have, but I remember listening to it and sitting in my car outside the salon streaming, my eyes were streaming in tears, but they get it. And for anyone going through anything like that, it is a top tip of my recommendations. Who else do I go to? I go to you.
Oh, stop.
I go to you.
Maybe we go to each other at the moment.
We do. I think we should talk about mentoring, actually.
Oh, great. This is your interview of mine.
I know it's yours. But I think I was recommended you by a friend of mine who knows you, and she has said to me for so long, probably, I don't know, a couple of years, she said, get in touch. And I thought, why do I need to, but what on earth is this woman going to think if I get in touch with her? No one knows who I am. So, but I did, didn't I? I did about 6 months ago. And the time I was at, you know very well, I was on hormone treatment, and my mind was blown completely. Like I didn't, the hormone injections were making me, I didn't know my own mind. Like it was fuzzed. And that kind of gave me the push to think, right, get someone who can guide you through. But I also thought to myself, is this a sign of weakness? Like what will people think of me that I have a mentor? And I think it was a silly thought, actually, because I think we all have mentors, don't we?
Yeah, just in different ways.
In different ways. And so I looked to my dad for a lot of mentoring, and my husband for other mentoring. But it's really quite nice that we have stumbled across each other for the fact that we are in the same industry, and it does help. And we kind of do go, like this COVID, we've lived it together, haven't we?
Yeah, definitely.
So there you go, there's my 3.
Oh, thank you.
Well,
so where can people connect with you online, on social media?
So social media, I am on a mission to gain followers, so please follow me. Facebook is Amanda1, and Instagram is Amanda1 Hair and Beauty, and I appreciate every follow, and I'd like to think I put some decent stuff on there as well.
You do. I mean, like you said about in lockdown, and for a week you've done nothing. Now you're on bloody fire. Like you haven't stopped, and your nail art is literally insane.
But how nice is it to play nails? Like I never ever get a chance. I've I've been so busy, I think sometimes too busy in the salon, that I haven't had a chance to play for so long, because by the time Sunday comes and I've got a day off, I literally spend it in my pajamas.
Yeah.
And then the last thing I want to do is pick up a nail brush. But I've had the best fun and learned so much. There is so much, so many people putting stuff on Instagram, like sharing what we do, and what a nice industry we are in at the moment. And
Yeah.
I truly hope it stays like that, because so many people are sharing things that they wouldn't have done before. And I think the industry is pulling together. I think locally the businesses are pulling together, and I really hope that we stay like that. Really hope that we stay kind.
Yeah, me too, and it doesn't just disappear when everything goes back to normal at some point.
Absolutely, because this is one thing that we have all been in this together.
Yeah.
So and I hope that stays. I really do.
Yeah, me too. I just can't wait to like see people and hug people again.
I know, and I'm not
We're not
a
even going to be able
massive
to hug people.
No, we're going to be able to elbow.
Oh god, I think I'm sure it was you. I saw you and I was like, and I give you a hug. It was before like the week or a couple of days before lockdown. I was like, I don't know if I'm allowed to hug you. I'm going to hug you anyway.
I think we so needed a hug in those weeks, didn't we?
Yeah, I know. Just crazy.
One day we'll be back on the beach.
We will. That's our plan, isn't it?
That is our plan.
That is.
We need the sun.
Yeah. Oh, well, I really appreciate you coming on. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
And those that are listening or watching, please go and like the Instagram page and Facebook page, and I'll put the links in the bio and whatnot. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you.